For today's Cyber CEO episode.
And I wish I would have done this a while ago. I think it's the best thing that we've done for our business. 𝗙𝗵𝗶, I hired her as my first hire, and she is still working with me today. She manages all my social media, creating the content, interacting with your followers, even as you. And so you could spend your time doing things that are actually driving profit to your company versus spending time creating content for social media. So I think any business owner, no matter what industry you're in, could use help. 𝗙𝗵𝗶's role has definitely transitioned over the past couple of years. She manages my email. She manages all of our social media for all businesses. She manages my database. She's creating newsletter content. Basically everything that doesn't require my face to be there, she handles that for me. She is so fabulous. Yes, she's just super good. 𝗙𝗵𝗶 and I are definitely friends. We've connected on a personal level for sure. I feel like she's like family. She is way more dedicated than anybody I've ever met in the United States as far as an admin type role. Like she's there all the time. She's always there, always.
Welcome to Cyber CEO, wherein we talk about how our cyberbackers helped our cyber CEOs take their businesses to the next level. Cyber CEO is powered by Cyberbacker, the world's leading provider of admin support services from anywhere in the world to anyone in the world. Please visit our website www.cyberbacker.com for more details. Another great day here at Cyberbacker. My name is Jello. We're back with another episode of Cyber CEO. And of course, we have a very special guest on the show. Amy, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you.
There we go. We're very excited to have you back on the show. We really appreciate your time. I know you have a lot of things to do. Really appreciate this. Now, what we wanted to do was just to, of course, get to speak with you, talk with you, your experience with virtual leverage, and of course, Cyberbacker. But before we hit on to that, how long have you been with Cyberbacker, Amy?
Yeah, I've been a client of Cyberbacker just over 2 years, and I still have 𝗙𝗵𝗶. I hired her as my first hire, and she is still working with me today.
Oh, wow. Already a strong partnership built right there. Now, take me back, though. How did you find out about Cyberbacker?
Yeah, so I had a coach at the time, and I had come to the realization, she led me to the realization that I should probably have help in my business. There were things that weren't getting done. There was things that I just didn't enjoy doing, and I needed help. And I realized that I'd probably have more free time in my life if I hired somebody to help me. However, I'm also an introvert, and I didn't really have space in my office for somebody to be in there full time, nor do I want somebody staring over my shoulder 24/7. So she had mentioned checking out Cyberbacker. So that's how I originally heard about Cyberbacker.
Okay, so heard it from your coach, then talked about Cyberbacker. So basically, this is your first time then working with someone virtual. Am I right?
It is. It is.
First go. So was it a big change for you at all? Just working with someone or working with someone virtual, I mean?
So it was a big change just in general in my business, just bringing somebody on, trying to figure out what to hand off, how to manage it. But, it was virtually versus in person. 𝗙𝗵𝗶 came in and started working. We met via Zoom on a regular basis, more often in the beginning. Now we see each other almost daily because she helps me on my trainings, but we meet specifically at least once a week, and then we're texting and staying in communication throughout the day that way. But we see each other visually about once a week. We meet for about 30 minutes just to go over kind of our plan for the week, if there were any questions from the previous week. And so it's been fabulous. And it was just a huge adjustment in general because it was my business and I hadn't had anybody in my business helping. So that was a big adjustment for sure.
But now everything's running smoothly like a well-oiled machine between the both of you. Now, talk to me about a virtual leverage. The first time again, how do you think other business owners would benefit from this, in your opinion?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's actually taken me 26 months to hand off my email to 𝗙𝗵𝗶 to manage. I should have done that on month 1. So I think even if you just hired somebody to come in and manage your email for you, I think it would be well worth it. I wish I would have done this a while ago. Like I said, probably about 26 months ago, I wish I would have handed that off. Where she's going through my inbox, we have a system set up that we copied from someone else where if there's something that needs my attention or needs my response, she throws it in an inbox so I can check that twice a day. I only see the stuff that needs my attention. She's managing everything else. So number one, I would say email support would be fabulous. Number two, she manages all my social media. So I think everybody can have help with that. I think as business owners, we have a hard time handing stuff off to people. Mm-hmm. And so I think business owners in general, something you probably shouldn't have your hands in on a daily basis is your social media. Like somebody else can be creating the content. They can be growing your following. They can be interacting with your followers even as you. And so that's one big area where I think a lot of people hold on to because it's like, oh, that's kind of like a marketing piece or, that's the face of the company. However, you could spend your time doing things that are actually driving profit to your company versus spending time creating content for social media. So I think that's another big area where I think, any business owner, no matter what industry you're in, could use help.
Absolutely. Especially when it comes to emails and social media, especially social media, I think, because it's like, if you don't have a social media page for your business, then there's no business, right? Something like that. Yeah. Yep. Now, aside from letting your Cyberbacker help you with your emails, your social media, what else do you ask your Cyberbacker to help out with every day?
Yeah. So Abby's role has definitely transitioned over the past couple of years as our businesses have transitioned because we have multiple businesses. Mm-hmm. She manages my email. She manages all of our social media for all businesses. She manages my database. So she got in there and set up touch plans so that we're interacting with them on a regular basis. She's creating newsletter content so that it can be sent out to the database. She is also, I teach new agents through our office. Well, and, I kind of opened it up to other agents everywhere, but she sits on those calls with me. She records them. She edits the recordings for me. She gets those posted to the YouTube channel. She helps promote those items, sends out emails, sends out reminders. So she does basically everything that doesn't require my face to be there. She handles that portion for me.
So anything you throw at her, basically, she got it covered. Am I right?
She is so fabulous. Yes. Anything I throw at her, some weeks I like, hey, what do you think about this? Do you think you can handle that? And she's like, sure, no problem. And then, so she's just super good. And she goes out there and learns. We've switched databases now 2 or 3 different times. And she goes out there and learns the new system. If I'm thinking about switching or seeing, she can go out there and kind of play with it and see how user friendly it is and kind of make recommendations, whether it's a good idea or a bad idea, which really makes sense because she's the one that's going to be dealing with it anyways. So absolutely.
Now, the way you talk about your Cyberbacker right now just feels like you've been working for a very, very long time. It also seems like you've built somewhat of a friendship too, not just business-wise. Am I right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Abby and I are definitely friends. Part of the reason, when I went through the hiring process, they take you through those rapid fire interviews. Oh, yeah. And we talked a little bit about what hobbies were. And part of the reason it was between Abby and another one. The other person that I interviewed actually looked better on paper to me. Mm-hmm. However, Abby and I had some things in common. She's got a farm there in the Philippines, and she's getting cows and chickens, and I also have a farm, and so we just kind of related on that personal level. And so that's something that we're always talking about, like, oh, what animal did you get, or how's your cow doing? We've also talked about the fact that she needs a mini horse so that she can have a little cart with a mini horse pulling her around. And she's like, they don't exist here. I'm like, we're going to find a way to get you a mini horse because you need a mini horse with a little cart to pull you around the farm and around the little town. So, so that's on our future goals is I'm going to figure out how to get her a mini horse. But yeah, absolutely. We've connected on a personal level for sure. I feel like she's like family.
Gosh, so really first time talking to each other during the interviews and just felt a connection there with Abby then. Am I right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I felt like, where I felt like on paper, she was lacking skills. I felt like, that stuff could be learned, but us connecting was going to be key to our future success. And I think, obviously I must have, hit the nail on the head because 2 years later, we're still working together and it's fabulous.
Still working together and growing together, of course. Yep. Now, during the beginning, we already talked about it. You already had a connection with Abby, but how do you continue to build a successful partnership all throughout, again, the 2 years that you've been working together? How do you do that?
Yeah. Like I said, we connect, number one, face-to-face on a weekly basis, just to touch base. And then we're staying in contact via text messages. And that includes things like, I'll go outside and take a picture of the sunset and send it over to her and, let her know that, hey, it's supposed to be, -5 here next week. what's the tip in your world, right? So like we just connect and share. And I think just having that open communication, she sends me pictures sometimes. I send her pictures of the farm or the horses here. So just having that open dialogue and continuing to grow and connect. I treat her like I would any other of my friends here, right? So that's how we interact.
Just connect with the person on a personal level too, because imagine they're already working thousands of miles away. If you don't bring them in, make them feel that they're part of something, I don't think it's going to work out anyway, right?
Absolutely. Well, and I don't think, you hire anybody into your business. If you don't make a connection on a personal level, it's probably not going to be a successful partnership. It's hard to keep any business relationship just business. Like, that's all we do is focus on the business. It just doesn't have that depth to go the length, create loyalty.
I agree with you there. 100%. Now, next question. How about challenges, though? In the 2 years that you've been working with someone virtual, Abby, your Cyberbacker, have there been any challenges that you've encountered so far?
I would say the only challenge that we've encountered so far, like I said, she usually rolls with the punches. She's happy to take on new tasks. We've had lots of conversations. There's been some tasks that took her longer than maybe expected, and we've had conversations about that, and there's things she doesn't enjoy. So then we kind of devised a plan of, okay, well, the expectation of spending 8 hours a day on something that you hate doing isn't realistic. So let's break it down. And if you could spend, a couple hours here, or, block it in 30-minute increments so that you're intermixing it with things that you enjoy, I would say that's our biggest work hurdle. And then Abby also is attending school at the same time. She's working on her, I guess it would be a law degree there in the Philippines, I think, are the equivalent of. And so she always lets me know when finals week is coming, because she is a little not as present during finals week. But as long as I know that's coming, I've told her I'm happy to work around her school schedule or to give her a little bit of leadway during finals, because I want her to be successful in her personal life as well and achieve those goals. And I think as long as we're working together and she doesn't drop any big balls, I'm happy. So she just gives me a heads up that, hey, next week is finals week. And so I'm sorry if I'm a little absent-minded. So we just stay in a little better contact during that week. And I ask her to let me know if she needs some extra time for some sleep or whatnot, because she is working for me overnight. So she's going to school during the day and then working in the middle of the night. So I'm always like, are you sure you don't need a couple hours of sleep before you head in, or, whatever. And again, that just comes back to treating people like humans, like you would anybody in anywhere, any country, in person, not in person. Like, people are people, and you've got to treat them like humans.
That's really the way you talk about Abby. It seems like you've been very close. Feels like you work together in the same office. You're that close together. It just amazes me so much. Now, one last question while I still have you here. What advice would you be able to give other business owners thinking about partnering with Cyberbacker?
Yeah, absolutely. I would tell them to check it out. I think it's the best thing that we've done for our business. The other thing that's happened is through moves of real estate companies, moves of locations. The nice thing is that I've been able to take her with me. And so I would say if you're thinking about hiring for your business, anything that doesn't need, a license or needs to be in person or a certification, Cyberbacker is the way to go. It gives you an affordable option to bring quality people on that can help add and grow to your business. And, the funny thing is too, is Abby, there's been times that she's been sick and she still shows up to work. And I'm like, you don't sound good, or what's going on? She's like, oh, I've got some sort of stomach bug. I'm like, stop working, go rest. She is way more dedicated than anybody I've ever met in the United States as far as an admin type role. She's there all the time, or sometimes she'll be like, oh, power's out, I'm working on battery backup. So, it might be slower than normal for me to respond or whatnot, but she's always there. Always.
Dedicated partner right there, your Cyberbacker, Abby, which of course she's going to be able to listen and watch this before once we have this online. So before we go, would you want to give her a special message on the show, Amy?
I thank you so much, Abby, for putting up with me over the last couple of years. I appreciate it. I look forward to what the future holds for both of us. And I just thank you so much.
Now, we too are very excited to seeing the continued success and the growth of this partnership. And of course, Amy, thank you very much for giving us your time here today. I had fun talking to you.
Thank you. I had fun talking with you as well.
Thank you for listening to our daily dose of Cyber CEO. Stay tuned to know more about how Cyberbacker creates a difference in this digital time and age. You can visit our website www.cyberbacker.com and follow our social media pages on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Spotify.